All right, all right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome
Good
to the
morning.
Empowered Morning Show with me, Angela ALove Lewis, and my girl Regina, Hud Honey of
What's going on?
Sacred Healing, Mind, Body, and Soul.
Yes,
Listen,
baby.
all day
Yes,
long, we getting it all together. We are
yes,
putting it
we
all
are.
together. And y'all know, listen, I done got a little irritated looking at this background because there's a lot going on. There you go.
Oh,
Just change it up a
it
little
looks
this morning.
nice.
A
I
little
like.
something different. Good morning, Miss Doris. Good to see you this morning. Happy Thursday. Miss Phyllis, good to see you as well. Thank y'all so much for coming on and saying good morning as you always do. Shout out to our YouTube channel, our Facebook family, and our IG family. We are so happy to see y'all this morning. Hope y'all are ready to be empowered because that's what it's all about. That's why we are here because it's a beautiful day to
Good
be
morning.
empowered. Good morning, Miss Patricia. How are you?
How are you
Regina, how
guys
are you
doing?
feeling this morning?
I didn't hear you, sweetheart.
How are you feeling
I'm
this
doing
morning?
wonderful. You know what? I'm really, honestly, I am really blessed. I'm thankful. It was a little chilly outside, but a little chill, wake you up, get you ready to empower your morning. You know what I'm saying? Wake you up. You got crisp, good air. Doesn't feel like it's polluted. So yeah, I'm thankful.
Good, good, good. We say it was a good drive
It
in.
was a good
And
drive and it's peaceful. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing where even when you're driving early, there's some peace about it, some quietness about it. So
mm-hmm.
you're just cruising. I like to cruise. Angela likes to,
Yes.
Angela likes to zip zip. I'm a chill. I like to cruise on the road. Play my little
Yes, honey.
music, bump
Listen,
my
I'm trying to get
music.
where I'm trying to go. Regina is like, let me just take my time and get
Exactly. And
sensory
I
and
put my
grounded.
music on. Listen, I put my music on that I want to listen to and I chill. I get here and I have a good. I'm ready. I'm ready to get on here and feel to be empowered with you, sis.
That's good. That's good. Well, I know y'all see that Dr. Sparkle's not here. She is traveling. So keep her within
Yes,
our
in your
prayer for
prayers.
traveling mercies and all of those things. And that she has a beautiful day because y'all know she would be here hyping it up like she always does. So we're super glad that she has opportunity to go out and do the things that she does outside of the Empowered Morning Show.
That's
So
true.
Regina, y'all know that Regina has been bringing us the word. She's been giving us these scriptures. She's been doing a deep dive. She's been talking about some things that
Yes.
we need to get out of it a little bit more than just a surface reading. Because sometimes we'll do a quick prayer. Sometimes we may do a little
Yeah.
quick scripture, or we'll say one that's familiar to us. But there's also times when you need to get into the word a little deeper to get that revelation, to
Yes.
get those mysteries that they talk about in the
Yes.
Bible. That requires you spending time and getting a little deeper. So, Regina, I appreciate the fact that you do that for us. You break it down, you go a little further,
Hmm.
than just what's on the surface. So, what you got for us this morning?
Okay, let me tell you what. I was just telling sis backstage that I love the scriptures because one, well, we're doing it through the whole month. It's it's gonna line up with what we're gonna be talking about here, okay?
Mhm.
But it does something because you may have read that scripture once and you forgot about it. But when you come to it, it comes into remembrance. But it comes into remembrance at it more deeper and more clarity, and it's more
Right.
powerful. You see what I'm saying? So your spirit gets excited because you say, wait a minute, I remember that. Your spirit remembered that, so when it came, but you had the better clarity. So this is what we're going to go talk about. Isaiah 12. It was Isaiah 12 and 6, but I'm going to take it a little further. Isaiah 12 and 6. Shout aloud and sing for joy, people of Zion. For great is the Holy One of Israel among you. Okay? I'm going to take it up a little further, and then I'm going to flow on down. Isaiah 12 and 4, we're going to go all the way down to 6. In that day you will say, give praise to the Lord, proclaim his name. Make known among the nations that he has done, and proclaim that his name is exalted. Well, exalted, I'm part of that. You feel what I'm saying? I'm part
Yeah.
of that. Sing to the Lord, for he has done glorious things. Let this be known to all the world. Shout out aloud and sing for joy for people of Zion, for the great is the Holy One of Israel among you. I know who I am. This
Yeah.
is me. I keep saying it's our DNA, it's our history. Okay?
Good morning, Shannon.
When
Yes.
you start seeing the word for what it is, it's who we are.
Yes.
Is it not, sis? Isn't it who we are? It's who
Yes.
God has created us to be. This is why
Mm-hmm.
it's the bread of life. What does the
Mm-hmm.
scripture say? My sheep hear my voice.
Yes. Yes.
So you may have read that scripture at one particular time in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Because maybe at that time you were reading it more like a novel.
Yeah.
Okay? Instead of breaking it down precept upon precept, understanding why is it that it didn't make sense at that time. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And then
Right.
God brings it into remembrance, and your spirit says, okay, now I get it.
Now it
You're more
makes sense.
wiser. Listen, you're more wiser.
Mm-hmm.
You have a little bit more sense.
Exactly. Good morning, Ron Pat.
How you doing? How you doing? So this goes into what I want to talk about, because we have to have growth, and we were talking about leadership, trailblazer leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so this is where growth, spiritual growth as well, is the most important, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Spiritual growth is the most important. So our spirit
Yes.
man needs to be leadership. You feel what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yes.
That needs to be the most strongest. So never forget that. I'm going to go into what we were talking about yesterday about being trailblazers. And the next one I want to talk about is empathy. I don't know if you guys ever been in a situation where you've been per se under leadership,
Mm-hmm.
and a person had a leadership role,
Yeah.
and they didn't have any empathy for their team. It was like, I'm the dominant, you know, dictator, and everybody else that is on my team is beneath me. That's not showing any empathy. And you
It's
can
not.
have some really good, solid people who are good at what they do, but for whatever reason, the leader has to feel superior, and that's not what it's about.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
empathy for your team. Everybody has a weakness. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody's going to show up 100% every day. They may be going through some things, be having some problems. We have to have, as leaders, have to have empathy to show, like, okay, you know what, maybe it's a little bit more than what the surface shows, because we really don't know the root cause of it. So as leadership, we should have that type of empathy for our team. That means, you know what, if we're a team, we got to be tight,
Yes.
right?
Right.
You
And
got
Miss
to be
Doris
tight.
said, that's a power trip. When you have leaders who is my way or the highway, or, you got to do, and they don't care about the other people who are on the team, that's people who have a power trip. You want to have people do and say what you do. You want to control that. Empathy is understanding somebody else's feelings and what they're going through. It's
Exactly.
putting yourself in the place of their situation. So say for instance, someone who has lost a child. If you've never lost a child, you may not know, or if you never had kids, you may not know what that is, but you try and think
Mm-hmm.
about, oh my God, if I went through that, how would that make me feel? And then you act
Right.
accordingly. Same thing in leadership. When
Right.
you're dealing with a group of people, you've got to take into consideration that everybody comes from different backgrounds. They have different scenarios that have happened to them. So you've got to sit back sometimes
Yes.
and listen without judging. You got to
That's true.
listen
That's
without
true.
interrupting sometimes so that you can allow people to get out what they need to get out. And you don't know, even if they've never been in leadership, you always
Ever.
learn from somebody. But you have to be empathetic. You have to have some type of connection, because what that does is it builds trust with the
Right.
people that you're working with. Um, it helps to, improve. Good morning, Cynthia Lewis. It helps to improve how you all show up together. Because if I'm in a group and the leader doesn't care anything about me, it makes me less likely want to show up. It makes me less
Right.
likely want to keep
You're
giving
not
a
going to
hundred
get the
percent.
reaction that you want. That's it. You do the
Exactly.
opposite. You do the total opposite, and then you're in. And I really, you know what? Let me tell you something. And I love that we're talking about this empathy, because empathy is always close to my heart. And if anybody they might be watching, so, and it's the honest truth. I've always been an advocate for justice of how people are treated.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
always. So I seen it at a workforce, and it didn't make sense to me. I was that one that would go and say, hey, you know what? You got some good people here. Listen, we got some good people here that show up every day, on time. They answer the phones. Whatever their job is at this place, they do a good job. But you would be surprised of how many of them are struggling to get gas to come to work, to be here on time,
Right.
to have food, to eat. And I said, you know what? We need to have some kind of like a petty cash type thing. You know what I'm saying? For
Mm-hmm.
situations like that.
Mm-hmm. That's
This is
good,
and this is
Regina.
the honest to God's truth. No, this is the honest to God's truth. Because I went to two people prior. I went to human resources. They said no, we don't have anything like that. I went to the office
Mm-hmm.
manager. No, we don't have anything like that. I said, oh, okay. So you know what? To me, in my head, you're giving me the runaround, because that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't seem right in a corporation like this. You hear what I'm saying?
Correct.
I'm speaking leadership even on that, and I'm working for these folks. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
the system doesn't seem right to me if we keep basic. So I set up an appointment with the CEO of who ran it, and so when I went in there and I said, you know what, are you guys able to give a portion of your employees that we could really use some extra help? They're here all the time. They're good workers, but they struggling financially, and I know there's got to be some kind of money for like that to help.
Right.
I was told that the other partners may not be able to, but I'm willing to give $1,000 a month
Mm.
to it, and you let me know who they are, and I will anonymously put cards on their desk or wherever they're at. So whether they needed gas, whatever they needed. And they did
Mm.
not, and they used to talk so bad about this man, and he was the one that was doing this behind all closed
Mm.
doors.
Mm. Mm.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Regina, that in talking to people, y'all know when came in, a lot of people, at that point really started leaving jobs because they were just like they didn't feel valued. And that's where the empathy comes in. A lot of people do struggle to get to work, even though they feel like they're not getting paid enough, they're not being appreciated
Right.
for what they.
Right.
And when you have somebody who is a team lead or a supervisor, manager, your boss, whatever you want to call them, who understands that it's not always easy. It's not always easy showing up and doing a job when you've got things in your household that are uh, not on point.
Right.
But you show up every day.
You show
People
up
want to be
every day,
appreciated,
Angela. You know
and
what
it
I'm
doesn't
saying? That's
have to.
not
It doesn't
right.
require a lot. It
It
doesn't
doesn't
require a
require
lot
a whole
if you
lot.
show up. You want somebody to appreciate that.
The little things could help. You see what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
I know, and trust me, I know, because I worked in the front and before I got into my clinical. That's where I had to start in that because that was the only position that was open. You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
I look at numbers. Numbers speak a whole lot to me.
They do. They do. Hey, people
Right?
think but money, like it's just the little things
Because
to
listen,
show
I came
somebody
from
that
a
you care.
self-employment. When I got into back into medical, I came from a self-employment, right? So I was self-employed when I went into this company. So I'm
Hmm.
already knowing I know how to make money. You feel what I'm saying?
Hmm. Right.
So I knew that I was going to actually take a pay cut,
Hmm.
but I needed some stability of consistent, and I wanted to get back
Right.
with my knowledge in it. You see what I'm saying? So I knew.
Right.
So when I went into that, I said, you know what? I'm a business person because I've been self-employed for a long time. Business is business. You feel what I'm
Yes.
saying? There's just basic
Yes.
things that are done. Okay,
Yes.
you just have
Hmm.
more of it. If you have a good system, and you know what I'm saying, you may not have the abundance of the finances.
Right. Exactly. And you know what? We're talking about trailblazers, and empathy is a characteristic that really leadership, to lead yourself, to lead your household, to lead in business, to lead in jobs. You should have some type of empathy, because if you're not compassionate and you can't understand where, even if you haven't been in that situation, everybody hasn't struggled, but there's more people who have struggled than people who have
Yes.
not. You got to have some empathy for that. If you live right around the corner from your job and you don't experience a lot of traffic, but you got people who are traveling 35,
Yes.
45 minutes every day, you got to have a little
A
empathy
little bit of
about that,
empathy.
because they may come in frustrated and irritated because they've been sitting for a while. They may come in, and need a little time to wind down, but you got to
Yes.
understand that, instead of,
Right.
like, okay, well, I need to get that computer on. It's just a matter of, we got to put ourselves in different situations so that people can understand it's not about you and what you're doing all the time. Sometimes you gotta have a little empathy to say, okay, you know what? I know that child, she got 3 kids and she had to get them out and get to going to school. Then she drove
Right.
45 minutes to
Right.
get here. She may need to, girl, she in the break room getting a little coffee, getting herself together, calm it down before she get in and get started. Have some empathy for where people are in life, because it's a struggle for some.
It's a struggle.
And that's not to say that, you're making an excuse for people, but just understand. Or say, for instance, y'all know, when you talk about losing somebody, if you have a death in the family, well, in most jobs they give you, what, 3 days bereavement. Well, 3 days really is not a
Yeah.
whole lot. I
And then
mean,
you
I
got to go
you
back.
can't give
Then
people
you
a
got to
whole
go back to
lot.
work.
you,
And
you you
they
can
don't
give
care.
people 3 months,
They don't
but at
care.
the same time, have some empathy, because it's going to be days where grief hits you, and grief
Yes.
can hit you in 3 days. Grief can hit you 3 months or 3 years later. It's no timetable on that. So you have to have some empathy for the things that people go through, and understand that everybody's
Exactly.
not going to be rah rah boom boom. Oh, I on 10 all the time. When you understand, it makes you a better leader when you have some empathy, because I'm telling you, you want to go when you know somebody has been there and supported you and encouraged you when you weren't at your best.
Right.
You want to come in and do things for those type of leaders, because you see that they support you and they encourage you and they make you feel better.
Right.
And because of that, you want to give them your best all the time, as much as you can.
Right.
That's the difference in being a true trailblazer and being somebody who's out here making an impact and making a difference, and all
Right.
that. So good.
I like that. I like that. So hey, you know what? We're gonna go on to the next one, and this is
Hmm.
good. This is really, really good. Strategic thinking. Do you hear me?
Hmm.
uh, you have to be able to shift with the atmosphere of what's going on. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
um, I can give you an example of strategic thinking. uh, a lot of people, because I'm a business owner, I own a barbershop, so a lot of
Hmm.
people, when COVID hit, okay,
Hmm.
businesses, business owners are like, hey, we're all
Right.
self-employed, we're all, when it comes to when you're work for yourself, when things like this happen, you're on your own. So you got to really like, okay, if certain things are gonna happen, because it wasn't what wasn't known what was gonna happen. You see what I'm saying? It was unknown. You got what I'm saying? People didn't really know how things were going and when it first came out. And I was told, well, businesses are closing down, blah blah blah. I said, oh, okay. And I'm thinking like, okay, what are you gonna have to do? How are you gonna have to sustain?
Yeah.
Okay. That was number one. Then I got people saying, well, are you gonna do the PPPO loans? No. Well, why not? Because I'm not. I just didn't. For me, it didn't feel right with my spirit. I don't give a dang.
Right.
Okay. I'm still thinking. You got me? So if my thought first was already, well, Lord, I know you're going to get me through this. That was number one of my thinking. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
I just need to know, like, okay, if I've been doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm frugal. I wasn't always frugal, y'all. Trust me. But I had to be disciplined.
Right.
So I had enough to where if I didn't have to work at least for a month, I'm good. Now, if they said you couldn't come back in, I'm gonna make some money. I trust me. So I wasn't gonna. My mind said, well, well then I have to go work back in the medical field, right? Because I'm keeping my business,
right?
Even to pay my rent, because it's going to open. In my head, I'm thinking that after that month goes by, I'm still thinking. Now, mind you, I'm working to the last minute before I can even leave. I didn't even want to. I was like, well, you know what? I guess I get to work till because after that, it's breaking the law now. Right? So I was upset that I had to stop something that, okay, because I don't know anything about it, but I got to close my business. You feel what I'm saying? It's one thing if I say I want to take a vacation and on my terms, but it was another thing when somebody says you have to close your business, and that's my livelihood. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes.
I have to think differently.
Yeah.
That month, I've learned a lot of things in that 1 month that I was already putting myself in a position if I had to do. You see what I'm saying? I wasn't just going to be sitting, chilling, relaxing. Okay, maybe there's something that I have to change a little bit. Okay, so I did. I added some knowledge to benefit me. When I tell you that month came back, I opened up these doors. I didn't care if it was one person. I was still working as I had as many clients as I have now. Matter of fact, I'm so thankful because I stood in my faith. That was the thinking strategy. You feel what I'm saying? A lot of times we get all combined on the outside and don't really look with like within who's my source. See, God will put us in positions to let you know who your source is. Now, are you willing to just sit there and worry about it? Or are we just going to stand with both feet down, chest out, head up, and say, you know what? I'm going to stand in my faith. And I'm stood in my faith. And so when I tell people now, when they say, well, yeah, Regina, I said, yeah, and I didn't take no doggone PPO loan out. I said, none of that. I was able to pay my rent.
And it makes a difference.
No, not even that. Let me tell you how God set it up. My landlord tells me, Regina, pay me what you can.
Wow.
And he let me pay for whatever I could for 2 years until we got out of the hump. That's what leadership is about. You see what I'm saying? Wow. They have a leadership of running a business, a retail commercial, right? I handle my business to make sure rent has always been paid on time or before.
Right.
Consistency. A good leader knows that I'm going to keep something consistent. So whatever it is, when we talked about consistency, this is what it looks like. Consistency in your faith and believing 100%. You see what I'm saying? That's the strategy of the thinking that we're talking about here.
And let me say this. A lot of times, when you have things that come up, it is going to be having you all over the place trying to figure out how am I going to make it happen? How am I going to keep doing what I need to do? How am I going to keep a roof over our head, food in our mouth, whatever the situation may be. But at the end of the day, and that's in anything that you're trying to, when
Yeah.
you get something to come against you that you're not used to, you got to be strategic. But one thing I'm gonna give you the scripture, it says, commit your work to the Lord and your plans will be established.
Uh,
Hey, Miss Phyllis
hey.
said in her sparkle voice, this is getting gooder and gooder because I believe God. When you believe
Right.
God,
Right.
then and you commit your ways to him, he's going to
Right.
establish your path. So when you trust his guidance, then you can show up. Farika said it's a daily journey with God for total dependence on him. Strategic thinking means that you position yourself, but you're asking God, God, what do I do? And when you believe him, then he can guide your steps and he can position you to still maintain. And sometimes it's not even just surviving. God can help you thrive when other people are around here panicking. You just think about, even in the Bible, when we think about Noah, and God told him to build the ark. And strategically, he said, okay, Lord, I'm listening to what you say. I'm going to build this ark. So where everybody else was laughing, like, we ain't had no rain and say, he crazy. I don't know what he's talking about. But yet, strategically, he did what he was supposed to do, got his
You
family.
got it. You got it. That's it. They don't that
They
this
don't
is
get
what
it.
we're talking about. Hello. The blinders come off. You
Mhm.
become awakened to what this Bible is really about.
Exactly. When you start understanding, Shannon, I'm gonna go back and read her. She said, I believe God and know you are going to provide food. I'm not going to keep stressing. Thank you, ladies, for confirmation. This is the thing that when you strategically think about
Yeah.
stuff, when you ask God, when you go to God, when you don't understand, but you say, you know what, God, I trust you. I'm allowing you to guide me. I'm surrendering to
Mm-hmm.
you and my plans to you so that you can work it out for me because I'm not
Exactly.
going to be stressed. The Bible said, don't worry about, where you're going to eat and all these things. If you do it for the birds, if the sun can still rise, if the trees and the flowers can still open up, then he's going to take care of us. That's what you got to understand. But you got to believe God and you got to submit and commit your plans to him
That's it.
so that you can continue on with your life. Strategically, you've got to have an ear to hear. Like Regina said earlier, my sheep know my voice. Have an ear to hear what's God. So when you see all this foolishness that wants you to panic in life, strategically, you got to step back and say, you know what? Let me see what God has already done. Like the little widow lady when he said, get you some jars. Let me see. Let me go in here and see what do I have in my house that can allow somebody to give me some oil. Let me see who I can talk to because y'all know that as they're talking about how the world is getting ready to move and do things and
Right.
how things
Come
are going
on
to
now,
change.
sis. Tell them.
Get you some people, get you a community of people that you can count on and they can count on you. But start having strategic conversations because things won't always be like they are now. But get you some people, get you a village, as they say, make you some connections, but strategically start thinking, what do I need to do right now so that
Right.
I can make sure me and mine are good in the future, whatever the future looks like. Trust God and know that because I believe in Him, we're going to be all right. I don't have to listen to the news and have me over here overwhelmed and stressed out and all that. But
Right.
strategically, I need to have conversations with people. Strategically, I need to make sure that now I need to have some money put to the side. So, like Regina said, I had enough to survive on for the month. So I didn't have to worry about that month. I can start preparing for the next month. Get yourself in a position where you strategically make moves that benefit you.
There you
Not
go, sis.
what
Come
I
on.
said
That's
earlier
it.
on
Come on.
Monday. Listen, is it going to bring you peace or is it going to bring you pressure? And start strategically making moves that bring peace into your life so you don't have to worry. Let me go back to Farika. She said, it's amazing as we are strategic, daily seeking Him and being about His will, He directs us. We may ask for something and he'll supply just he'll cause you to go bless someone else while your needs are being met. That is so true. Shannon said, no matter what I choose, God, keep the faith of a mustard seed and know that you're going to be all right. Farika, come on here. This is a needed word, sis. Teach. That's the thing, as
Yes.
Regina is talking about. When you start getting into the word of God, you start
Yes.
realizing that when I read these stories about
Yes.
Noah or other people, God, you may think, that's a lot, and I can't get it my head wrapped around it. But how many times has God been there for you? How many times has he been there for your family? How many times has he given you what you needed to make sure that you're good? And if he did it once before, you don't think he's gonna do it again?
Exactly.
Why would he do it one time? You're not a one-time person for the people that you love and care about. If Regina needed me, I don't care what time of the day or night it is.
Right.
If she called me, I'm gonna answer the phone. If she
Right.
needs me to come through, I'm gonna come through.
Right. And
It's
you
not
know
a
what? And the
one-time
thing
thing.
is, I'm this is what, let me tell you something. I'm really simple. I'm simple. So when a person needs help or whatever, I don't go into questioning because I know already who I'm dealing with. You see what I'm saying? You feel what I'm saying? If you already have to know
Exactly.
what you're dealing with, why the heck am I going to question? If my sister or my brother came and said, this is that. Now, I'm a pretty good discerner. I'm just going to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. So
Mm-hmm.
I already know I don't even need to ask. Okay. If I can be of help, yes. If I can't, then I'm going to be honest and say, you know what, my gosh, I wish I could. But let me see if I can find somebody that I can know at least I can advocate. There it goes again, advocate. Maybe
Yes.
somebody else can, but if I can't, let me see if I can find, you feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Already thinking it shouldn't just stop at me, right?
Right. And I'm gonna go back and pick up this comment from Miss Patricia. I know we already at time is out, but
Oh my
she said we
gosh.
have to know that in God we will
Yes.
never walk alone. He has all bases covered. Period. And you have to trust that. And I'm gonna say this one thing. Y'all know how sometimes when people trying to surprise you or they want to take you somewhere, we see it on TV. You might not have had it happen personally, but you'll see it on TV. They'll put a blindfold over you, right? If you trust the person that you with, you know they got you. They're not gonna let you trip over nothing. They're gonna tell you, wait a minute, move to the left a little bit because it's a chair in front of you, or they're gonna guide you, right? Well,
Right.
if you trust a natural person to do that, if God is our creator, you gotta trust that He got your bases covered. He's gonna make sure that you're good, but you gotta believe that. Farika said, if He clothes the lilies, He values us. My posture has shown enough been God. I'm looking to you. This is every day. I don't stop. Every day I'm saying, God, lead me, guide me. Make sure that I'm saying the right thing. Make sure I show up for my right opportunities. Make sure, God, that I recognize who you
Yes.
send as a blessing for me. But I got to trust God so tight and so right and so deep and so much that if it comes to me, I know He ain't finna do anything that's going to harm me because
Right.
that's not what He's about.
Right. Mm.
But you got
This
to
is good.
believe God
We got to believe
no
God
matter what.
no matter what, sis.
No matter what. That was good today, Regina. Look,
Yes,
Regina be
honey.
bringing
It
that
was
thing,
good.
honey. Listen, because we're going to be trailblazers and leaders, and we're
Yes.
going to be out here manifesting greatness and goodness because God created us to do so. I believe God. And when you say you believe God, it's not pick and choose what you're going to believe Him in and for. I believe it through
Exactly.
everything, through anything, through
Yes.
all things.
Through all
All things.
things.
We ain't
I
wavering
believe
over here.
God.
Let me get Chantel real quick. She said,
Yes.
yes, this is conversation so rich. I helped some last year in their time of need. I barely knew them. They texted me saying I was thanking God for everything this year and how He used you to help me in my time of need. Appreciate you then and now. Look at
See?
that. Miss
There you
Miss
go.
Phyllis, I believe God. Farika, so good, sis. Thank you. God love you both. Thank you.
Yeah.
Cynthia, thanking for helping me be a trailblazer.
That's
Amen.
it.
I'm telling you, like you said, Farika, sometimes you'll be helping people when you're in need yourself, but know that God is always going to provide. If He can
Always.
help you provide for somebody else, He going to provide for you.
That's
Yes,
it.
and I believe God. Love y'all too.
All
We
right.
gotta go. We gotta get out of here. Y'all have a great rest of the day. Be blessed. We will see you back tomorrow. Have an amazing Thursday and continue to thrive, honey, because I believe God. Do you
I
believe
believe
God?
God.
I believe God. Bye, y'all.